Transparency, confidence, vulnerability. When it comes to SZA, she's simply one of those artists who always feels like she's wearing her heart on her sleeve. And over the years, it's given us insight on her struggles with love, relationships, and even self-image. But there's something to be said about the fact that despite her keeping it open and honest, the public always seems to poke at her insecurities. And I want to talk about it. But first, welcome to the channel. Hey, hi, Wazan with it, I'm C, and I do rap and pop culture commentary. So if you're into that, subscribe and hit the like button. Music is truly the soundtrack to our lives. We all have albums and artists that mark pivotal moments, both good and bad. But one thing is for certain, Control is one of those projects that takes you back to a moment in time. Maybe Love Galore and The Weeknd help you get through relation and situationships, or 20-something help you navigate that particularly chaotic age, where so many things are changing, while some very well stay the same. One of the reasons I feel like this project is a cult classic amongst SZA fans and seemingly propelled her into success is that the album shares a sort of intimacy between artist and listener. SZA is your homegirl, and Control feels like the equivalent of your friend showing you a poem, piece of art, or song they recently put together, just to see how you like it, just to see if you can relate, and you do. At its core, Control consists of tales of modern love and how desire, competition, jealousy, sexual politics, social media, and self-esteem can derail relationships, both the ones you have with other people, romantically and platonically, and even the most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. As someone who enjoyed SZA's music prior to Control, the album showcased so much growth, while still having the same comfortable, warm hug feeling that her previous songs and projects did. And now that I think about it, SZA truly brings something new and refreshing with each new song and project released. And what I enjoy most of all is that her music and persona matches. She's never hesitant to keep it real and show her fans how she's living, growing, and maturing through all of the phases in her life. But unfortunately, there's very little room for transparency, with no slap on the wrist from the internet court of public opinion. And sadly, this is something that SZA has had to deal with over the past couple of years, but recently now more than ever. When she wasn't getting name dropped in Drake's tracks, both during the early stages of his beef with Kendrick and him spilling the beans on them dating back in the day, she's getting memed by social media comedians, which feels hilariously accurate. Only SZA can express the happy confidence of having a big booty, all while expressing the sadness of heartbreak and choosing the wrong lover. SZA has always been one to put her insecurities on the table before someone else does, which is why it's so crazy to me that the recent social media antics that she's facing seems to be an attempt to break her down in the same way. It must be exhausting to be a celebrity online. You never know when you'll wake up to a rant from Azealia Banks. And in this case, Azealia took to Twitter to call out SZA for working with RZA. Back during the whole Control album era, RZA narrated a promotional video for the project, something that Azealia feels like was a slap in the face, being that SZA also asked her to be on the project because RZA allegedly tried to pimp Azealia Banks out to Russell Crowe. That's an insane story, and while we don't know if it's true, two things are. One, SZA clearly dodged a bullet by Azealia Banks declining to be on her album. Although she has had a few bops in the past, her wild personality and need to always lash out at people in the industry has certainly halted her success. And two, Azalea's crazed rant perpetuates something we see far too often in the industry, that no matter if you choose to alter your appearance, whether this includes your face or body, even if you embrace it, please still prepare to be body shamed. And this juxtaposition feels more relevant now than ever when we look at artists like SZA and Lizzo, who also happen to be BFFs. Now, we all know that Lizzo has dealt with backlash for various things over the past couple of years, from cultural appropriation to workplace harassment, and of course, body shaming. And even despite losing weight, the social media chatter remains the same. Same with SZA, someone who went from the girl next door look to more curvier and bootylicious over the years. But either way, she's still talked about. SZA has been transparent in her journey when it comes to cosmetic surgery, something that one half of the internet praised her for, and the other half chose to villainize her for. But as she does with most life experiences, she put it in a song. Well, two actually. On her second studio album, SOS, she opens the project saying, "So classic, that ass so fat, it look natural, it's not." And on one of my favorite songs, Conceited, she talks about how she feels no guilt for getting her body done and could really do without the opinions. To her, the industry didn't push for her to make these changes. It's something she just always wanted without having to put in the work. It's the transparency for me. This clearly means nothing on the internet though, with people pointing out photos of the old SZA in an attempt to humble her, as if some of our favorite artists, both men and women, don't choose to change their appearances over time. SZA has noted in past interviews that when she wants to clap back at the internet and the haters, and she doesn't have anything nice to say, she simply chooses to put it in a song. Either you're really gonna mess with her, or you're not. As for me, I'll be waiting for SZA's highly anticipated third studio album, Lana. I feel like everyone is stressing the importance of perfect album rollouts and such, but what makes the lead up to Lana interesting is that it feels a little organic and maybe even chaotic. First, Lana was intended to be a deluxe version of SOS, and now is slated to be a standalone release. There have been leaks in between, and of course, we got the gem that is Saturn, and even this album artwork, which feels like a not safe for work version of a summer camp Polaroid picture. SZA's album lore is always interesting. According to her, the title of the album comes from her nickname, Lana, short for Solana, which she got after getting her first tattoo at 13 years old. The tattoo was $10 a letter, but she only had $40. So that became her nickname, and I guess the rest is history. Well, maybe a historical album. That's so SZA. Anyways, do you think that the music industry has an effect on why a lot of people choose to change their appearances? Do these enhancements really affect the way artists sell music and their image? And if you're a SZA fan, drop your favorite song in the comments. It is too hard for me, but I gotta go Conceited, at least currently. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.